I want to bring into the conversation now Dr. Meir Javedanfar, an Iran lecturer at the Reichman University. Thank you so much for joining us, Meir.
Thank you,
Iran flat out rejecting talks with the U.S. Where does that leave Trump?
Well, to be honest with you, Bianca, it's unless the Russians intervene, if the position of the Supreme Leader does not change, I'm not saying it's not going to change. It is possible that it will change in the immediate future. But if it doesn't change in the next 3 to 4 months, and he maintains his position of saying no to negotiations, then I think we'll be getting closer to the prospect of war.
All right.
If he had said yes, but if he would have left, if he would have said, okay, he's right, Bianca, he's right in that saying that Trump walked out of a nuclear deal with him.
Yeah.
He did. Trump did do that. But at the same time, this is the same Khamenei that has killed so many Americans, thousands of American citizens, either directly or through proxy. So we can't come and exactly play innocent with the American public on this as somebody who is reliable on other matters. On the nuclear deal, yes, he kept it. So I'm expecting him to change his mind over the next couple of months. But if it doesn't happen, then I think we should be bracing ourselves for the scenario of war with Iran.
That is very serious. Now, you mentioned Russia, though, as a potential mediator. It has offered to mediate between the two countries. It's been received sort of lukewarm within Tehran, but is that a realistic scenario that you could see happening?
Look, if there's a message, Bianca, if there's a message ultimatum that President Trump does not want to make public, that tells the Iranians by this stage you either do X or Y, or I will attack you. And if he wants to send it discreetly, then I think he would send it through the Russians. The Russians might become very scared of Iran's defense industrial complex being completely wiped out. And as a result, this may compel them to come to the Iranians and say, look, you have to negotiate with the Americans. And let me remind your viewers that the Ukraine war is still going on, and the Russians are still dependent on Iranian defense industrial products, especially drones. So the Russians don't want these drones, the factories and the missile factories, to be destroyed. So they have a vested interest in making sure that there is no war. So I think the wild card here is Mr. Putin, and maybe the Chinese also. But we have to wait and see what happens. These are very, very sensitive days for the Islamic Republic of Iran. Right. Bianca, another reason why Mr. Khamenei does not want to talk with the Americans is he's worried. I mean, look at Trump, what he's doing to America's friends. Look at what he's doing to Zelensky. And he keeps telling Zelensky and the Europeans that they don't have cards. He's telling the Europeans they should pay more for NATO, and he keeps telling Zelensky that he doesn't have cards. So what cards does Iran have? Hezbollah, weak. Bashar al-Assad, gone. Iran's economy is tanking. So, if Trump has no mercy on Zelensky and the Europeans, how much of mercy is he going to have for Khamenei? And Khamenei is genuinely worried that Trump wants to bring him on his knees. And this is something that I think he's reluctant.
Well, Meir, so let's talk about that, because pressure is mounting on Iran, like you mentioned, both when it comes to its power in the region, the economy, but also on the nuclear issue. The Europeans are pressuring more, the Americans. What are the options that Tehran is actually facing right now? How strong is it to be in a position to say, well, Trump, we don't want to negotiate with you?
Well, to be honest with you, Ayatollah Khamenei is playing tough at the moment, but I don't know how long this show can go on. The Europeans are about to use the trigger mechanism of the Iran nuclear deal because of Iran's transgressions before of the nuclear deal. Let's not forget that Trump broke the nuclear deal, and then Iran broke the nuclear deal. And then President Biden wanted to walk back towards the nuclear deal on a stage-by-stage process, but it was Iran that said no. So this is now leaving the Europeans with the option of the trigger mechanism of the JCP, of the Iran nuclear deal, which means the imposition of tough sanctions. Trump is considering inspecting tankers to make sure there's no Iranian oil. I mean, it's really reaching a crescendo here.
All right, Mayor Javidan, for the situation reaching a crescendo here. Thank you very much for your input.